Okay, well, welcome aboard, everybody. We'll start out with a essay test explaining your experience, and I'll evaluate your essay.
Are you kidding?
There's
It's hard when
EDCF.
we're 100.
Whoever
We get 100. Okay.
That's pretty
more than
realistic
that,
looking money.
more than that, whoever has the best essay, this is what's coming to you.
Okay.
No, no, this is going to be very informal. This is a way. This is an opportunity for us to trade notes. Um, Focusing on let's since it's only four of us. Uh, well, okay, you guys haven't implemented this yet. None. Rosemond has.
I did. Yeah, I
Yeah.
did.
So
Uh-huh.
okay.
Mhm.
So Rosemond and I can maybe. And I know you're very new into it. I think you
Mhm.
just launched it what last week.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Yeah, yeah, okay, yeah, the weeks are starting to blend into me. Um, so yeah, I'm sure you've experienced some success already and some unexpected, I won't say failures, but just unexpected, unanticipated challenges with it. So we could take turns sharing those experiences. For Colleen and Carissa, this is your opportunity to ask any questions and seek clarification on things that you're anticipating that might pose challenges, run ideas by us, and just based on my experience. And understand, I've only been doing this a year and a half, so um, there's some challenges there. But like I said in the last presentation, at the risk of overselling this, my experience and other instructors that have implemented this, it's truly revolutionary. And thus far, I've yet to run into an educator that says I'm going back. In fact, they say the opposite. I will never go back. 1 second. Let me close the door in case a student comes by. If a student comes by, Lola, just have them knock and I can talk with them. Thank you.
So, Rosamond, what do you teach?
So I teach business administration, and the course I'm actually using it in is business statistics.
Okay.
So I did kind of more of a hybrid approach in the sense that I kind of looked at my course learning outcomes. And what I kind of figured out was that from my chapters 1 through 9 in my textbook, those were directly linked to 9 of my course learning outcomes. So I didn't start until week 10. So everything from week 10 to week 14 doesn't necessarily include my course learning outcomes. Only week 10 has content connected to the course learning outcome. I think my week 14 and my week 13. So what I was able to do with the spec grading was to say, everybody has to do 1 through 9. And then I said for the A, you still have to do 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. But for the B, you have to do those for the B, you have to do those 3 that are remaining, which was 10, 13, and 14. And then I added one more. And then for the C, they have to do those final 3 that are part of the course learning outcomes. So that's kind of how I built my bundles.
Nice. Yeah, that's beautiful.
Mm.
And what I will say, Rosamond, to be honest, when you were proposing that, I had to hold back, and I was thinking that's probably not a good idea to launch this in the middle of a semester.
Uh-huh.
But one of our work studies is a student of yours here, and she was very excited about it. And what that says to me is you have cultivated an environment of trust in your classroom, because I could see that being
Yeah.
whenever we change things up radically like that. And of course, you gave them an option to opt out.
Right.
So, but from my understanding, I think you shared with me all but 3 of your
3,
students.
yes. And one of the
Wow.
3 actually came back the next week and signed up. So only
All right.
2 out of the class didn't sign up for it. Mhm.
Okay. Well, I will nominate you for parking spot dedicated for Teacher of the Month. Because that's pretty, yeah, it's pretty revealing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and on that issue of trust, I would like to touch on something here, and admit something, which is a little bit difficult, but I've been teaching here for 17 years, and of that 15 years, I don't think I ever cultivated that environment of trust with my students. Um, I've always had high expectations of my students. Um, I think it is disrespectful not to. It drives me crazy when I have students tell me my other professor in history was really easy and I failed it. And what I say to them is not to cast shade on any instructor. I don't know what's going on in their classroom, but if you walk away from any course in college and you don't feel challenged, you don't feel the virtue of stress, not anxiety, the virtue of stress, further developing your mind and your heart, you are not getting your money's worth. But the problem with that, the predicament of that is conveying that type of challenge to students can come across as, well, as the role of a cop. And although everybody has their different relationships with law enforcement, for many people, especially in places that are impoverished, like our community, anybody assuming the role of law enforcement is inevitably going to cultivate an environment of distrust. And that's something I'm deeply regretful. I try not to beat myself up about it, but I will say this. Well, I'll share an experience I just had yesterday. I had a student come to my my office before class, and she shut the door and she was fighting back tears. Her eyes were welling up, and she shared with me that a dear friend of her died by suicide. She didn't have to share that with me. She could have, and she was sharing that with me because she wanted to explain that she's going to be out of it, but she's still going to come to class because she needs the distraction. And she felt comfortable sharing the personal details of her grief with me. And that would have not have happened 2 years ago. And she's not the only one. My students come to me and share with me very personal things, and it's always in service of with contrition that because of this, I'm not focused, but I wanted you to know. And I think where that is coming from is this system that provides an environment of trust. And that was not my intention. I was peripheral to it. I'm just trying to deliver content and to provide an environment where students can feel empowered. And so that is an added benefit in this. This is, I'm fortunate to have 3 institutions, what I refer to as factories of love. One is my home, one is my church, and one is this college. These are truly places of factories of love, and I see it every single day. And the degree that we can empower ourselves as educators is always going to translate. That empowerment is always going to translate to our students, and in turn, we're going to empower them. And it's going to have far-reaching significance and consequences. And it's something I'm truly humbled by. I just got into this gig because I like talking about history and I'm a nerd.
I think that's why lots of us become teachers.
Mm-hmm.
I love books, and I
Yeah.
I can't believe they pay me to do this as a job, but they do.
The only
Do all
time
this
I've ever
reading,
said,
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, the only time I've ever said I'm going to work is when I was department chair.
Yeah. Oh,
I
God.
never wake up and going, oh, I gotta go to work. It's this is not work.
But
It drives
it's
me
really
crazy when I hear colleagues complain about this or that. Obviously there's things to be concerned about and to address our grievances. But man, this beats breaking rocks or
Well,
washing dishes.
I find that okay, so I've been here almost 20 years, and consistently on my student evaluations and many times in the comments in my classes, my students are like, Miss, you really love this. You really are excited about this. You really want us to know this. And that has come across in the whole 20 years I've been here. So I'm still have that passion, but if I can communicate that to students, which I can a handful every year, that's what keeps me here. But by looking at you saying that this has transformed your classes and students are engaged and they actually want to learn and they ask you questions and you have discussions and it isn't just I have to sit through this hour and 15 minutes and then I'm on to whatever else I'm doing. Um, I mean, I'd love that. I would totally love that to reach more students and not be seen as the person who's going to prevent them from doing whatever it is that they want to do, because that's totally not what my role is, but that's what they perceive me as. So,
Yeah, they're jaded. And we have the honor and a profound opportunity to lessen that cynicism that has been cultivated by not just K through 12. Those instructors in that system are doing the best that they can, but
Yeah.
I think it's society in general.
Mm-hmm.
By virtue of living in a civilization, we are just disempowered creatures, and we have an opportunity to empower, to point out to students that yeah, you're disempowered, and the first step to gaining your empowerment is to acknowledge that, and then now look around for little wins to empower yourself.
Right.
Jing, thank you for joining. I don't think there is a room. Well, let me check with in a chat with Krista on the sidelines here. Let me see. Is there a remote check-in? Okay, we'll see what she says to that. Okay. And then let me make sure I'm back in our chat. Okay. So yeah, let's begin. Rosamond, why don't you share? You touched on your course, and granted, it's only a weekend, so maybe it's going to be pretty limited what you can share, but maybe not. So just share your wins and share your unexpected challenges thus far.
Can I share the document as well?
Yeah,
Okay,
let me make sure. I don't know if I have. Are you able to?
let me see.
Yeah, let me know if you're not able to. Okay, Jean, I heard you. I got your message.
I think it might be sharing. I think.
Oh, there we go. I see all your emails. Oh, I missed it. I was gonna get nosy there.
Let me just find it. I think I have it in. It might be a little bit busy, but again, this is can you see the spreadsheet?
Yes.
Okay, so this is the spreadsheet that I gave to all of the students after we finished chapters 1 through 9. So again, my idea being that 1 through 9 were required because, they're connected to the course learning outcomes. This was also the other thing that kind of got me thinking about this is week 10 is when we do our Starfish progress reports. So I would have given my students anyhow, like where they stood in week 10 based on chapters 1 through 9 or weeks 1 through 9.
Okay.
So I would have given them this top information to begin with. But then again, as I said, for the module for A, then what I said was you still need to do chapters 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. You need to score the 90 or higher. You need to present the team semester project presentation. And then I also have an AI presentation. It's a real kind of quick that they do over one topic in the class for the week that they're assigned. And then I have these kind of mini thinking exercises just to encourage them and to get them thinking about that there are different ways of thinking, right? You can think critically, creatively, strategically, et cetera. And so the B path, as I mentioned, they just need to do chapter 10, 13, and 14. And they have to score 80 or higher on all of those assignments. They also need to do the presentation, the team presentation and the AI presentation. And they only need to do 3 of the thinking exercises. And then for the C path, again, they just need to do 10 and 14 because those are the only 2 remaining chapters that are connected to the course learning outcomes. They only need to do the team semester project. They do not need to do the AI presentation. And they only need to do 2 of the thinking exercises. So what Sean really helped me with was the token piece. And when you think about it from a business perspective or being a business instructor, this really makes a lot of sense because you can really connect it to the fact that business is all about transactions, right? So they earn tokens by attending class, doing the in-class thinking activities, the AI presentation, remaining in class the entire period. If they leave class, that they have to return their $20. And then attendance for team presentations, because typically my attendance will trail off in that last, week 14, week 15. Where the students are doing their presentations, and the students will kind of come on the day they present, but not on the day they don't, right?
Mhm.
So I'm trying to encourage them to be there in the audience for when their classmates present.
Nice.
They're redeeming their tokens for excused absences. And again, thank you, Sean, you helped me set this up. That's based on our conversation. And the final exam exemption, I set at $1,000. And then chapter assignments. So in the course, they do chapter assignments, they do Excel activities, they do what's called interpreting the results, where they're given data and they have to interpret the results. So the only thing that they can redeem tokens for are the chapter assignments and interpreting the results, because I still need them to do all of the Excel assignments, because when they go to that second statistics course, at UTRGV or wherever they go, they're really going to need to be proficient in how to do the statistical elements in Excel. So the Excel assignments have been exempt for being, for them redeeming their tokens. They still need to do all of their Excel assignments. And so what I did was, as Sean mentioned, I gave the students an option, since we were late in the semester, to either participate or not. And so, as he mentioned, I had all of but 3 students in the first pass sign up for it. And then the next week, 1 of the 3 signed up for it. So I only have 2 students in the class that have not signed up to participate. I also gave them the option, if at any time, because it was kind of a sudden change, that they can discontinue the specification agreement by just signing the second line item and turning this sheet into me, and then I'll just score them on just the points. So this is the kind of the overview of the spec grading and kind of how I presented it to the students, and I'll stop sharing, and how they signed up for actually participating.
Nice. Now, something for those that haven't set anything up yet or are in the process of setting up, what I want you to notice is how different it looks from the way I've set it up, right? What I notice is it doesn't look like you're providing a binary assessment system. It's not pass or fail. You're still including
Well,
points.
I am still doing complete for those items, right?
It's complete or not. It is binary.
Complete or not complete.
Okay,
Yeah.
I just saw the points. Okay.
Yes, no, so
Well,
I am staying
yeah.
true to that piece of spec grading.
Yeah, and that is it's not necessary to do that.
Yeah.
If you read the book, you're going to see all sorts of different examples from different academic disciplines and different instructors. They grab what works for them and they reject what doesn't work for them. And some people still use the point system, and it doesn't undermine it in any way, because it's still these assignments are for C's, these are for B's, these are for A's. That's fundamental to this system. But it's not required. I do, based on my experience, I would say the binary system is important because the problem I've experienced throughout my career is that becomes the focus of student instructor conversation. I missed it by 2 points. Can I get extra credit, or can I redo it? And typically they're talking about assignments that have very little significance relative to their total grade. And so, and then that is a profound predicament for students that are overachievers too, because they're staying up all night because they happen to get a B on a quiz that's worth maybe 0.5% of their total grade. But yeah, there's lots of ways of approaching this. Rosamond, what beyond the success of getting in overwhelming buy-in from your students, what successes have you noticed thus far a week in?
So I think what I've noticed is surprisingly, or maybe not, the students are excited when I give them the tokens, right? So when I give them the $20, they're like waiting for it. You know, they're actively waiting to receive that token for that week or for attendance. So that's been really interesting, you know, and they're sitting there anxiously waiting for me to hand those out.
Yes, yes.
I have some questions about the whole token thing, because I'm
Sure.
trying to get sort of like a holistic framework, I guess. Okay, so
Here's the answer
okay,
to all
so
your
you
questions.
kept talking about your pink box, and I'm like, I don't know what that means, but I'm gonna have to ask. Okay, so every day they get, okay, so just for the sake of argument, every day they get $20 for showing up for class, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. And okay, so they're not like, if they don't reach into the box and just draw a denomination of $1
No.
or $100.
Oh,
Okay,
No.
well, I was stuck on the $1,000 exemption thing. Okay, so this is what I'm thinking. So this is for people who get to skip the final. Is that what they're working that
Yes.
1,000? But don't they need money to just do business in class? So how could they possibly? Okay, first of all, how do you make sure you hand out at least $1,000 to every student? And how are they able to, like, it, and it has to obviously be more than that if they're just going to conduct business, because they're going to need cash at some point for some things. Does anybody ever buy their way out of the final?
yes. Let me bring
So
up
so
one.
I haven't.
Oh, sorry, Rosemary.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was
go.
gonna. I haven't experienced that, and
Okay.
and the design. I designed it for like a full semester,
Right,
so
right,
my students might not reach the 1,000.
right. Okay.
But I'll let Sean. Yeah.
Yeah.
But how do you make sure you give
One,
out that much?
yeah. Just like anything, if that doesn't work for you, if you feel like they cannot skip the final, it's comprehensive and it's a culmination of everything. If that's a critical component of your curriculum, then don't do that. But to answer your question, let me see where it is. There we go. Let me share my screen. To answer your question, how do they do this?
Okay.
Yes, I've already had probably a quarter of my students achieve being exempt from the final paper. And the
Wow.
way I'm able to justify this is they do substantial amount of writing, because the
Right.
final paper is based on the assigned book, Incidents of the Life of the Slave Girl. So, and that final paper is only in my course for students intending to earn an A in the course. So in the end, most students aren't going to take advantage of that. But yeah, as you see here, there are plenty of opportunities for students to earn EDCMs throughout the semester. So the way I do it, because yeah, what you'll find is that your bank gets empty pretty quick. And so I give myself the latitude of 1 to 20. So beginning of the semester, they're getting lots of 20s, and then it goes down to 10s, 5s, sometimes 1s. I got $2 bills. So that's daily attendance. Staying in class the entire time, same thing. Submitting assignments early. Oops, submitting assignments early, which are the entire bundle for a C, B, or an A, as you see here, 50 for a C, 100 for a B, 150 for an A. There's 5 bundles total. So I'm not a math major, but you can do the math there. Any in-class work we do, so discussions. This is where the magic happens. Students want that money. So when I go around, I'm walking, this is what's in my hand during the discussions, and depending on the caliber of their contribution to the discussion, they might get a 5, they might get a 10, and they might get a 20, right? So they get money that way. And then I have these extra credit assignments right here, in-class presentations, create a PowerPoint. I have a caveat there for the artists. They can express their artwork, something relevant to something we've been studying this semester. And then this is an additional writing assignment that they can do. So 100 for that, up to 100 and up to 50. And then I like going on walks. So they can join me for a walk at 30 EDCMs per mile, which is going across campus and coming back to the P building. So yeah, to answer your question, Colleen, there's ample opportunity. Plus I have, let me bring this up here. I have this folder dedicated to, it's basically my extra credit folder. Here's my mid-semester orientation. This was just due on the 11th, where they can get an extra 50 EDCMs. My series on tyranny, by the way, if there's anybody that wants to join me in this podcast, we're approaching 2 chapters at a time. Get a hold of me. It's our first episode was with Chris Nelson and Renee Rios. It was, and Jenny Chamberlain joined us as well. It was a banger. It was deeply moving, and the students got a lot out of it. I'm getting great reaction papers, but so on and so forth, right? There's just all these assignments that they can earn extra EDCMs throughout the semester. So yeah, ample opportunity to get out. And then to go back, just to go back real quick, this is what they can earn: 50 for attendance, 500 to get out of one bundle summary, 750 to get out of the second, and 1,000 to get out of the final paper. Okay, let me stop sharing. Okay.
And
Yeah.
can I just add to Colleen, for me, I don't know if you noticed, it didn't matter A, B, or C that I had the team semester presentation. That's a comprehensive presentation. So if the student finishes the semester and presents, then they've met the requirements for a final, for instance, for me. So it's either one or the other. So if they don't present, then they still have the option of doing the final.
Carissa is asking, are your walks a type of walking? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, a lot of magic happens on those walks. It gets the blood flowing. We're out in the sun. Now that it's cooler, it's even more better. Sorry, Carissa, for the poor grammar there. But yeah, they do ask me about the course. They talk about what we're studying, right? What we talked about in class was really disturbing. That was pretty inspiring. What that student said in class was interesting. Those kinds of conversations happens on these walks. And then the other thing that happens is, I'm like the Pied Piper leading this gaggle of students behind me. They start talking with each other and getting to know each other, and networks are formed that way.
Okay, I have another question.
Mhm.
So I was reading the book that they gave us, and well, devouring the book that they gave us. And I have a question about, okay, so they suggested in one of the models that in order for a student to do well, like say for instance, they had to do reflection assignment, and we would show them examples of a good reflection and examples of a not so good reflections. And again, I model that kind of stuff as well. I was especially struck by your history class, Sean, because, okay, so say that they're reading a historical document, okay, and they have to write a reflection on it. Um, how do you show them a good reflection on that document without them just copying it wholesale? Or you don't use that one, you use a different one, or again, I'm trying logistically to get this straight in my brain.
You mean copying just the document itself, just kind of
Yeah,
rephrasing it
like
without?
just paraphrasing it as is and going, oh look, I did what you told me to
Yeah.
do, right?
So for assignments like that, it's done in class. I give them
Ah.
specific questions. And I provide a table, provide a declaratory statement, dates, relevant people, historical figures, um, geography, the significance, supporting quotes. So, and then in class, they come with their handwritten, filled out responses, and then they get it on the board. I've got plenty of whiteboards in my classroom, and so we and that's where learning can happen, right? And so that's an opportunity. And with the token system, right, they see in real time based on what they put on the whiteboard. Good college try, here's $5. And then students that knock it out of the park, $20, or sometimes even 50. And then that's an opportunity for me to go, this is a great declaratory statement. What they wrote here is not wrong. What is missing, everybody? And then dates, significant historical figures, geography, supporting quotes. And so now at this point in the semester, we're getting really productive discussions. I rarely have a student that just shows up with a declaratory statement.
Colleen, can I also share
Mhm.
one way, because I've been utilizing AI in my classroom. One way that I use it on the statistics side is as one of the critical thinking activities. So I give them an AI output that's incorrect, just to press the point that AI still is at a stage where it has bias, it has inaccuracies, it's not always correct, and that these students are at a place where they still need the foundational knowledge in order to catch those types of errors, right? So I give them an output that is wrong and use that for my critical thinking activity. So tell me where it's wrong. We've been talking about, I don't know, setting your alpha value, or we've been talking about what is the appropriate parameter for your hypothesis test. What's wrong about this output? And then, you can flip it around and turn it into a critical thinking activity in class.
I'm scared to death of AI. I'm not gonna lie. What I'm scared of is showing my students how to cheat. That is what I'm scared of. They're gonna use it and they're gonna do their things, and I run into it every now and again. I get the whole thing, but I understand the wonderful applications that it provides us, especially as educators, and like you said, trying to come up with a scenario to show them that, look, okay, let's talk about why this isn't working, right?
Mhm.
Which AI, a lot of times, especially the clumsy way they do it, it doesn't work. I just am so reluctant to go there. I just really am. I feel like I'm right at the cliff and I'm not ready to jump off of it yet.
Yeah, I think you just kind of have to find the space
Yeah.
where you enter AI that works for you and works
Mhm.
for you personally and works for your students
Mhm.
and makes sense for the profession, that your students are more likely to go into. Because for me, like I said, I can give them plenty of outputs that are inaccurate because we're still at that place. And a
Mhm.
good example is I was in a meeting, and now, the AI will do a recording of the meetings. And whenever it had me talking, it called me a he. And so I can then have the conversation with students about how AI works, and that an LLM is looking for tokens or is looking for words. And depending on what the database is it's learning on, if that database has everyone with the name Rosman from whatever, time frame it's using, and the Rosmans were men, right? It's going to assume I'm a he, right? So it's going to, put that bias. And then we know there's bias because maybe some of the content might have been from a certain time period where majority of the people in business were he's, right? So you can have that conversation with students. And I think you just have to find that kind of entry point that makes sense for you and makes sense for your students and makes sense for what they're going to see in their professions.
Yeah, thank you, Rosman. Have you did an eyewitness report on AI?
What?
You need to report AI to HR.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, what a great opportunity we have to, I'm taking a course right now through my church with my very grumpy, stern priest. Hi, Dana, I see you out there. Taking a catechist class, and he throws all sorts of readings, and it's great. AI is great because these are very complicated text and it can summarize it for you. Now, the problem with first year college students is they aren't leveraging that to facilitate learning. They're just using that to copy. But if you know how to use the tool, it's okay. Now that I got this great little outline, my first job is, are there any hallucinations? Is it has a bias? And then now I've got these outlines. Now when I read it, I'm going to be able to see the forest through the trees. I'm not going to get lost, and I'm going to have a deeper appreciation of this enriched text that is going to be a lot more functional for me. So I think that is our opportunity to say, this is how you use AI. This is how you do not use AI.
Right. I agree.
Mhm.
I agree.
And it's critical for us to engage with this to get past our fears. Our fears are legitimate. This has the potential to making us all irrelevant. So I think we could leverage our fear to really empower ourselves and empower our students to make this a very functional thing. And also the applications that are available for us to assign students assignments are unbelievable. H5P, like I shared yesterday, if anybody wants me to go over that, I can. It wasn't functioning correctly yesterday, so hopefully that's been fixed. But yeah, unbelievable. And you have the opportunity to go in and edit, to shape it the way you need to shape it. But what a time saver because I remember, I've been charged quite a few times for creating courses for my department, and multiple choice quizzes are a nightmare to create. You make mistakes, you don't key them correctly, the questions make no sense, and you don't have anybody, because everybody's busy. I don't have anybody. The great thing about our jobs is we don't have anyone looking over our shoulders. The bad thing about our jobs is we don't have anyone looking over our shoulders. And so AI has greatly empowered us to create things that are accurate and consistent, as long as we're doing the legwork coming up behind it and going, okay, is this actually conveying what I need it to convey? So I'm really glad, Rosman, that you are leveraging AI with your students to again, sorry to keep using this word, but to really empower them. It's important. Rosman, any challenges that you have faced in your first week of delivering the system?
At this point, not so much. What I'm not real sure about, again, like you said, because I wanted to use it in its pure form of the complete, not complete for those assignments that I had identified. So what is the methodology? So how do you, I know right now, I think what you showed me, you're doing it in Blackboard, is that correct?
Well,
So I'm still in
yeah.
that I'm still in that, I'm not real sure about how they know or how to let them know they've completed or not completed to this
Oh,
new
let me
requirement.
share again how this how this pans out, at least on my end. Where did the share button go? Oh, there it is. It's in the same place that it was before. That's weird. Okay. All right. So students, pay attention. I'm only going to say this once. Don't let me repeat myself because this is a history class and we don't like to repeat ourselves in history. Okay, so where will this? Oh, well, I'll go to the grade book. That's where it will make sense. All right. You all are bound by confidentiality, so don't tell on Allison here. So this is what it looks like on the student's end, right? Bundle 1 for a C. This is a total calculation column. Bundle 1 for C, once they have completed all the individual assignments for a, let's see if that's, yeah, let me bring this up so it makes sense. And then I'll go back to the grade book. But so to earn a C, the students need to complete these assignments right here. B1.1, B1.2, B1.3, and all of the assignments have a standard of 85%. And so this student here has earned a complete for bundle 1 for a C. And that is the only, we can't get away from letter grades, right? So this is the only time that we're using the language of letter grades when it applies to their bundled grades. Otherwise, this is what they're seeing: complete, complete. Bundle 1 for an A is not complete. Now, in my course, they do not have the opportunity to go back and complete the assignments for a C once the due date has expired. But they do throughout the semester to complete these assignments. So I trust this student, especially this student, is probably currently, based on the color here, because it's not red, is going back and is beginning to complete these assignments right here.
But you set that up in Blackboard as a unique setup, right? So you had to go into Blackboard and set
Yeah.
up that calculation.
Yeah, let me show
Okay.
you on the back end what that looks like, because this is where the legwork comes into play, and there's a huge learning curve. You're going to screw it up. Well, maybe you won't, Rosmond, but I did. So what does this look like on the back end? Well, the first thing you have to do, let me back up a bit. The first thing that you got to do, and this is where the legwork comes in, is when you set up an assignment. Let me go to bundle 1. So going to this folder, and then I'm going to edit. And you notice the grade category, I've designated every single assignment in bundle 1 assignment, right? And then it's complete or not complete. And this is in these assignments here, you cannot limit these are H5P assignments that I'm indicating right here. You cannot prevent them from because they can still do the assignment after the due date. And you can't prevent attempts. Now, how I prevent them from, if they're a student that hasn't completed the bundle for a C, I go to, sorry, let me actually do this so it's a little more seamless. Let me create another tab. I go to the roster and I click on the student's name. Oops, that's there. It's actually right here. I go to the little 3 dots, member information, and I unclick that and I click save, and that blocks them from the course. 9 times out of 10, that student's getting a hold of me that day or the day after. And then we have a conversation. Which is great because what I don't have happening in my course now is students that are off my radar. And I get to the end of the semester and it's like, oh my gosh, 40% of my students are failing, right? I'm keenly aware of students that are failing at this point. And it's very few of them. Most are earning that. So where was I before? Yeah, that's how I do it. So all bundle 1 assignments are indicated as assignment in the grade category. All bundle 2 assignments, I believe, are presentations, so on and so forth. So when you are setting up your calculation. Yeah, look at that. Everybody's got a complete, isn't it? And a dark green complete. Beautiful. This is what it looks like on the back end, right? And so I indicate in the sub bundle folders, the quizzes, they have a little bit more weight to them. And then all of the minor assignments that are there for their preparation for these quizzes have less of a percentage. And the ones that are in purple, these are assignments that are required for students intending to earn a B or an A for that bundle. So I block them out. That's what the purple indicates. And if you want to bounce them out, because all of these are indicated, are categorized as assignment, if you want to bounce them out, then you click this right here and it bounces it out and you give it a percentage. I don't want to do that. So I'm going to put it back into the assignment folder. And then it indicates down there that all adds up to 100% and you click save. And yeah, the problem with this is you got to do it for, if you choose to set it up this way, again, this is not the template. It might look very different than for you, but yeah, you got to do it the way I do it. And so let me know if anybody is seeing like a bozo no here and sees a more seamless way of doing this. But as far as the way I have it set up, yeah, bundle 1 for a C, bundle 1 for a B, bundle 1 for an A. Got the bundle 1 summary right here, which is outside of the bundled grades. It's a different component of their total grade, and so on and so forth, all the way down to bundle 5 for an A.
Hey, Sean, I have a quick question.
Mhm.
You said that you block the student from Blackboard and then they contact you, and then what do you tell them? You can't go back and redo it. The due date is passed?
Yeah, no, I'll give them
Okay.
typically, depending on our conversation, 48 hours, 36 hours to get to the C, and and it's a great conversation because like me, when I was a student, sometimes I realized, wow, I bit off more than I can chew. I'm going to have to withdraw from your course. Or, oh, I didn't, what I hear from students is, oh, I didn't know that I had to do this assignment, right? Okay, right, my bad. And then they go ahead and then they do that assignment and they get a C. So it's just an opportunity for a conversation. When they contact me on Pronto or come to my office, the first thing I say is, you're not in trouble. Right? I'm not here to punish you. It's just so we can have a conversation so you can succeed at the end of the semester. And I find that really important because the whole idea of blocking students that aren't willing to do the work for a C, and let me know if I'm wrong here, but is that, this bundle we took about a month on. Is that unreasonable, 3 hours of work for a student intending to earn a C?
No,
No, okay, yeah. So
not at
to
all.
me, what this prevents is at the end of the semester, I'm not blocking out students as far as responding to their Pronto messages, their Blackboard messages, or them coming to my office. Students that have been dedicated, that have been putting the effort, that have been displaying the necessary character to succeed in a college level course. I'm not too busy dealing with students at the end of the semester wondering if there's any chance that they can do anything, given that they haven't been showing up regularly and they haven't been doing any of the assignments. Those students are no longer enrolled. The students that realize I've taken on too much, or I'm hopelessly confused with the system, or I don't like this guy, and so I'm withdrawing from the course. And so I find this to be a very powerful, valuable aspect of the tools that are available to us. And it works for me. I don't know if it would work for anybody else, but it definitely works for me. And it gets students in your office. And I think that's obviously very important.
Hey, Sean, I'd like to offer in Blackboard, when I have unique assignments, there might be another way for you to do it that might work a little better. So that instead of where it says assignment,
Oh, good.
you have it actually say bundle 1.
You're talking about right here?
No, so like in your grade book, you see
Oh,
how
okay.
B 1.1,
Yeah.
1.2, and 1.3 are all bundle one. Instead
Yeah.
of this saying assignment here, it would say bundle one. So
Now,
then it would group them in the bundles in your grade books,
oh, the category you're
the
saying.
category.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
don't know if that would make it more confusing or how
no,
that would work.
I think there's a problem within Blackboard. I'll check that out again, but I think if you customize your categories, I forget what I ran into a problem. It didn't allow you to then grab those categories and put them into a final link. It
Like a
doesn't grab those.
calculation.
Yeah,
Okay.
I could be wrong there, but I ran into some challenge because I think I did try that, and because I customized them, it blocked me for some, I think, translating it into a final grade for each bundle letter grade, for a total calculation of all 5 bundles. I'm forgetting this was my first semester when I launched this, and yeah, that was something I was like, but yeah, I'll try that again because that would be very helpful because I think students are able to see that on their end what everything is categorized as.
Right. Can I just share something real quick that
Yeah,
I just did it for the first time this semester.
let me stop sharing. There we go. Okay.
Can you see my Blackboard?
Yep.
Okay, so let me see. Because I wanted to get my, you know how you create the table in your syllabus and say this many points or percentage for these types of activities, that type of activity. I wanted my Blackboard to match that table I had at my syllabus. And so I created, let's see, the categories. So I created the categories that matched what were in there. So I created podcast assignment,
Okay.
attendance, Excel assignment, in-class assignment, checking your knowledge quiz, interpreting results, chapter assignment. So so instead of using just plain assignment, I
Mm-hmm.
have these which are specific to that table that you would put in your syllabus. Because I wanted to match. I was like, I
Yeah.
need to get that to match for the first time, right?
Yeah.
And so that the points, you know, when you look at the points system associated with that, that I wanted this overall points here to match what was in my points in that table in my syllabus.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
the only way I was able to do that was to create my own categories that match those categories. So you can see some of them say assignments, but then the check your knowledge quiz, that's a check your knowledge quiz. This is a chapter assignment, right? So I'm thinking maybe you could do that with bundles. It was just a thought
Yeah. No, that's
where
truly
you
elegant.
could come in and then say, this is part of bundle one
Mm-hmm.
and this one's bundle two, and then group them that kind of way.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Now you give me something else to do over my winter break. My wife will be getting a hold of you. Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. And I'll let me know if you run into some sort of challenge with custom made categories. They're constantly updating Ultra, so probably it's not an issue anymore. But
Not sure,
absolutely,
because I
yeah,
won't know till I get to the end, right? If
yeah.
it really,
And
if
then you'll
it
be
really
pulling your
works.
hair out.
Yes, right.
Yeah. And do expect that there's
Yeah.
there's a lot of unanticipated challenges that
Yeah.
creep up because it's novel. You can't have a one size fits all template for everybody. This
Right.
is custom made for you.
Yeah.
But I will definitely do that because I think that will mitigate the confusion for students almost entirely because they'll be able to see it in the grade book itself, and it'll make it a lot more sense. So yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, and anybody else? I know, Jean, you're having trouble with your mic, so let me make sure you haven't. Okay, nothing in the chat. If there's any questions, Carissa, if you have any questions, certainly interrupt us. This is a good opportunity for me to learn from you. Any question I get is usually a way for me to challenge the system I've created. to help me fine tune it. Oh, thank you, Gene. Appreciate it. I'll hand this to you next time I see it.
I have a question. Okay, so again, I'm trying to think about how designing this. Okay, so again, the book gave a bunch of different backward design, all this other kind of stuff. So where do you, okay, so again, I'm trying to get a mental handle on the overall thing. So did you start, okay, so logically, I would think that you would take the course learning outcomes and then look and see what assignments you have to satisfy all that. So you get that all kind of done. And then how did you split it into bundles? Like, how did you decide, okay, this amount of work is, okay, did you go, this is amount as an A, this is a B as a C, or did you do it the opposite way? Or does it always just depend?
I start from the C level and
Okay.
build my way up because the students that are intending to earn an A or B also have to do the assignments. For an A, you have to do all the assignments. For a B, you have to do all the
Oh,
assignments
okay.
for a C.
Okay.
And my courses, just to bring this up right here, what's nice about these assignments, these H5P assignments, is it gives you a time. This is from an audiobook for A People's History of the United States, Chapter 1, Columbus, the Indians, and Human Progress. It's 59 minutes. And so I'm able to go, okay, cool. That's this assignment, another assignment, and another assignment. That's 3 hours. That's plenty for a student that's just here to check a box. My core requirement, I'm just here for a C, dude. And then, and then I try to make a reasonable assessment. Well, okay, if you're intending to earn a B, probably another hour of content is probably sufficient. And then typically the standard is another hour to 2 hours for those students, additional hour to 2 hours for students intending to earn an A.
And
But
I
yeah,
think
exactly right though. You start from your learning objectives, your course learning objectives, and then module objectives, and then you grab assignments to go, okay, this one makes sense for that, that makes sense for that. I think Rosman is doing that
yeah, I
brilliantly.
did kind of similar, Colleen. So I did started with the course learning outcomes and I
Hi, Gene.
identified, and I kind of did more of a chapter approach because my chapters correspond to my weeks. So it made it a little bit easier. And so I think you just kind of have to, it depends. I think it's really going to depend on what you believe is important to meet those course learning outcomes and what you identify as C level work, B level work, A level work.
And that's a great opportunity for us because, yeah, it compels you to ask that question. What do the bare minimum student, what do I want them to leave this class with? And then you get to build upon that. And it's great. It prevents or at least mitigates grade inflation. So you are able to really target the A students and going, okay, you want an A in this course. Well, here's what you're going to have to do for that A. And so you could target those students. They self-identify. They'll let you know, hey, I'm here to earn an A. What do I need to do? And then it's very transparent. That's what you need to do. It's in the tables. And so, yeah, it's
And part of my decision also was I know that my students go to a second statistics course that builds on the course they take with me. So understanding that, I had to be very kind of firm and fixed on what all of the course learning outcomes, because I still wanted my C person, right, to have covered every course learning outcome, even if they made that choice not to do, B or A level work. They still needed that, those things to be successful in that next course.
Yeah, and that's a particular challenge that doesn't apply to me, right? My students could take History 1302 before they take 1301, right? If we're just dealing with content, there obviously it's application in it, but and that's a particular challenge for you, Colleen, because you're the people we blame when your students come to my class and can't write a complete sentence.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah, you're really limited of, I could see that being a real challenge going, well, they need to know everything. Where do I make the distinction between a C, B, and A student? Writing a complete sentence is writing a complete sentence. How do I differentiate that? as far as the totality of the grade. So that is going to be a challenge. It is possible. Clearly, there are, and again, that provides you an opportunity. Obviously, students need to walk away from your class knowing how to write a complete sentence, a paragraph, transition sentences to the next paragraph, a thesis statement. So that's probably the C student. But then the opportunity for the A student, okay, A students, you're going to apply that to write a thorough essay on this entire book, or present to the class, or a group activity. The limits are endless. And so yeah, it's a challenge, but the opportunities present themselves in unexpected ways.
Well, and it's hard because I always want to ask a student, do you have to take 1302 RET after this comp class, right? Because they need a different prep. If they're going to go on in their writing, they need a different, but I can't really do that, right? I have to teach to the lowest common denominator, and everybody has to come out at a certain level, and that's the C level. So I see great opportunity here to to help the, like you said, the A's are not being held back by the C's, which is how my class works. That's how it works. And I feel bad for my A students because they're like, Miss, really? And I'm like, I'm sorry, that's what I have to do here. So I see lots of opportunity to be able to give them something that's going to be much more usable for them. And I won't bog down my tech students by having them write essay after essay after essay, and they never have to write another essay. That's not really the kind of writing they need. So yeah, there's a lot of room there for that. So that's good. That's
and I think the similarity in the fact that for your class and for mine, the student needs a C for it to transfer, right? So that class that I have, it's a academic. So if they don't have a C, they have to retake it when they transfer.
Right.
So kind of setting that boundary that at least everybody gets a C, I think really becomes, for me, that was the kind of aha moment, was that, for this class, everybody really needs a C to go to the next class, or to transfer this class, or so why wouldn't I be trying at a minimum to push everybody to get a C, right?
Right.
And spec grading kind of does that, right? And the way Sean explained, if they haven't reached that C, you have start having that conversation at a minimum, right? Get the C so you can do that next level, right?
Well, I think it also will help prevent so many students who have to get into a certain major and they need an A or B in comp and they didn't get there. They have the C. I think now, if we can have that conversation about, you're going to need to take the second one and you're going to need a certain grade point average to get into your program, then that's going to help you decide what you have to be doing here instead of having to go back later and retake the class. So yeah.
Yeah, and that's where, again, tokens come into play. It presents an opportunity for creating an incentive, one, for the students to do the assignment at the first time, the right time. And then if they don't, they pay you whatever it is that you come up with for a resubmission. And those resubmissions, it's do it over again. This is not right in the margins, your corrections. You got to do the whole thing over again. You can make exceptions if it's just some minor things, right? If they didn't write the prompt I always have them write the prompt on the top of it, so I know what it is that they're responding to and all of that. But yeah, that's where, again, the token system is really valuable, because it's more valuable because I offered resubmissions prior to adopting the system, but usually I wouldn't have takers. But for money, students
the psychology there is so intriguing to me, because I'm the same. Like, I would offer them a redo, they'd be like, nah, it's okay. And I'd be like, what? Yeah, but now they have to pay for it, and it means, like you said, it gives them the power. You're driving your own boat here.
Yeah,
that's really interesting.
Yeah, and it's what we're trying to do here is help them learn and to build upon their failures,
Right.
And it's an opportunity for them, because that's something I would tell students as a cop in my
Mhm.
classroom. Success is built on failure. I can bring up examples of Michael Jordan, right? Michael Jordan got kicked off the high school team, and then he started playing practice. He practiced at 5 a.m, right? That kind of stuff. Those
Yeah.
examples of truly remarkable individuals that were not inherently good at their chosen vocation, profession, or art form.
Mhm.
They worked for it, and they failed, and they were humiliated, and they got hurt, and they were just like, I'm going to use these failures to one day be the best, or at least just somebody that people around me notice. And so they get to experience that on from their own agency, rather than me just saying, again, failure, success is predicated on failure. That means nothing to them.
Right. Right.
Um,
Well, let me ask you, you said that the A students, I mean, typically they will self-identify. Yes, they typically will. But did you ever have a case where a student came in and they were motivated to get that A and because you laid it all out for them?
yeah, and what happens
Mhm.
9 times out of 10 is the student intending to earn a C. It's, well, I did everything for a C. I got time. I might as well do the stuff for a B.
That's kind of what I was hoping you were going to say.
Yeah, and then I might as well do it for the A.
Yeah. Yeah.
So since I've adopted this, 80% of my students walk out with a B or higher in my
Yeah.
courses, which is
Wow.
not, it used to be a classic bell curve. And
Right.
now I don't know what the curve looks like. I'm not a good math person, but
Right.
it goes like this. Um, and most of my students are, yeah, most of my students are earning A's by the end of the semester, because they're able to, because they're able to go back and complete those assignments. It's
Mhm.
transparent, money is involved, it's transactional, all of that.
Do you ever have a student say, "Oh my God, I have to do all of that for an A"? Do they
Mhm.
ever seem surprised
At,
by that?
at the
Because they
beginning of
really
the
honestly
semester,
don't have any idea what you have to do to get an A in a college class.
yeah, at the beginning of the semester, you get a lot of that, but then
Yeah.
it's scaffolded. And
Mhm.
so it's just, I do this, and then I do that, and then whoa, I
Right.
got the A, cool. Oh, and then
Well, I think it's cool too to show them that it actually, as most courses do, build. They build on itself. Like you start
mhm.
here and then you go, 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 go. And because I have such a hard time explaining that to them. I'm like, everything is tied together. You learn these skills and then you build on those skills and then you build on those skills and you build on those skills. And they have such a hard time seeing that.
Yeah,
So,
remember those graphic artworks that were sort of pixelated with different colors, and if you're real close to it, it just looks like nonsense.
right.
But then as you back up from it, then a painting of Michelangelo pops out to you, and you're like, oh,
Right.
now that I'm across the room, I can see it. And that's
Right.
very much at the beginning of the semester, you're right up in front of the painting, and as you back out, so in my classes, we're starting with the Western European conquest of the Americas, and all of the brutality. And so students are like, "What's this about?" And then as they back out, what we begin to realize is that this is a course on the patriarchy. This is what it looks like when men have unfettered access to power, and 51% of the population do not. They become childlike, they become mean, they become stupid. And this is definitely a political class. If you want to be a victim, then maintain the patriarchy. If you don't want to be a victim, then acknowledge that you live in a patriarchy and demand the people around you to act like adults and not children, right?
Right.
Sometimes you don't get what you want in this life. Right. And it looks ridiculous when a man is like, I want what I want. Right. I want to be a white person, and I want no own, all that kind of crap. I want women to be compelled to me. That's what U.S. history, especially 1301,
Mhm.
is demonstrating. This is what the patriarchy looks like.
Right.
And it's in spades right now. And it has to stop. It has to stop. So that is the message of my course, that we are identifying that and trying to prevent that, because it's not just bad. It's not a woman's issue at all, is it? This is a men's
I
issue.
don't think so.
Mhm.
Hey, Sean, I need to sign out.
Yeah.
Okay,
Um,
Rosman, now that I'm
Thank
talking
you
about the
for a
patriarchy,
great
you're like,
session.
peace out.
Okay, thank
This is
you.
getting
Bye-bye.
this is getting hot.
Bye.
Thank you for participating. I learned a lot from you, and let's keep the conversation
Yeah,
going.
definitely, definitely. I'll be reaching out. Thank you so much. Nice to meet
Excellent.
you, Colleen.
you.
All right. All right, Colleen, it's your show. What else do you
It's
got?
my show. I would like to have access to your course,
Sure.
if that's okay. I
I'll
just
make that
want to
happen
get in
today.
there and
Yeah.
start looking to see, because again, my mind is like, okay, it's trying to do this big picture thing, and I'm like, okay, this area here, this area, I need to see it laid out,
Yeah.
and I understand that my stuff's probably not really going to look like yours,
Yeah.
but I need to have a picture to look at.
No,
Yeah.
yeah, thank you. I'll make that happen after this
Okay.
conversation. So you'll have access to it most likely today, definitely by Monday.
Yeah, whenever.
Yeah, that is critical. And I would suggest once you've created some sort of template that's functional, do the same for other colleagues, because
Hmm.
the thing that's going to prevent most people from doing this is the legwork. And although you're not
Right.
going to grab my template and apply it to yours, clearly because we teach different subjects, and you've got to make sure these students have actual skills. I'm conveying skills, but it's not as apparent. But the least legwork an instructor, a faculty member has to do, the better. And to get a big picture idea of it by going, oh,
Hmm.
that's how he set it up, that's not going to work. Part's not going to work for me, but that part is. I'm going to grab
Right.
that and put it in my course.
Right.
If we could do that for all of our colleagues that are demonstrating curiosity, so much the better. Because, yeah, it was a full-time job last winter,
Hmm.
and I didn't even get it right. I screwed it up completely, and
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a learning curve there.
so
Yeah.
um,
And it sounds okay. So let me also ask you just personal curiosity. Um, it's okay. I mean, because Krista's involved and stuff. I mean, have you gotten any kind of not pushback, but any kind of comments from the college, anything from your students who are like, I don't like this, it's not working, why do I have to do this? Um, I don't know. I mean, it
never from my
seems
students.
never. Oh, okay.
Never. Once they grok it, they're
Yeah.
like, "Oh, this is cool."
Okay.
Um, the first few weeks, yes, you're going to get
Mhm.
that from students, but it's never a pushback. It's just sincere confusion.
Right.
It's novel. They've never seen anything like this before. So they don't know what to make of it at first. That's why, yeah, the first 2 weeks are critical. If you're going to do this with online students, you're going to get a whole new set of challenges, because communication is a profound challenge in that environment. But
Mhm.
a detailed orientation that is, and the way I do orientations, you don't get access to the subsequent bundles until you complete the orientation. Um, and with your in-class students, some sort of workshop, you want to say, you want to cover it thoroughly, but just broad strokes for 10 minutes. This is the way I do it, at least. And then hand it over to them, give them sets of questions, put them in groups, make it a workshop. They get their hands on it. They get to be the opportunity to be confused. And then they ask each other questions. And then inevitably they come up to you going, what do we do here? What's the answer? Um, but yeah, getting their hands on it is critical. It will greatly mitigate confusion. And then, as what I found is, it's necessary for at least 25 to 30% of the students, and it definitely helps the students that get it, to offer them another opportunity for a mid-semester orientation that you can record and deliver both your online students and your face-to-face students.
You said something about the online students. You don't obviously use the money, but you said you use tokens. So they earn tokens instead of
Not
the.
yet.
Oh, okay. You're
I haven't
working
done
that.
that yet.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, that's another, an addition to what Rosman has charged me with. I'm gonna explore, what's referred to as, I believe, let me bring that up on my end, achievements.
Hmm.
And so you can create badges that I think you can translate to, and I think it would be automatic. So if they get some sort of badge, then you could you can align it to where now they don't have to do a bundle summary. Uh,
Right.
I think I haven't really. I explored it when I first started it, and they've updated achievements, so I think there's some greater capacity to implement achievements, aligning them to courses and to provide exemptions. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do this winter break, is to figure out how to apply this to my online students.
Yeah, strangely, it seems like it would be easier in a face-to-face, which typically nothing's easier in a face-to-face. So it's just really interesting that there's, and I teach half and half typically. So, um,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
strange
it's
in an
good too.
online environment. Yeah, most of my questions come from face-to-face students because I
Hmm.
think what happens in online classes, you're compelled to really pay attention because
Right,
you can't raise your hand. So you got to
right,
read. You got to
right,
do this weird thing like read and
right,
what's in
right.
front of you. So it's either it's probably a combination of both. Either they're really paying attention or they're so hopelessly lost. They're just not engaged with the course in my online environment.
Hmm.
I'm not sure what to make of that, but I don't get as many questions from the online students,
Hmm.
which is kind of a problem though.
Yeah.
You know, I like the best question is I get this, but I just want to clarify. Am I getting this?
Oh, I love those kind of questions, but
Mhm,
they are very rare, aren't they? They
mhm.
are very rare. Yeah, a lot of times they don't know they're in trouble until they're way, way in trouble.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, unfortunately.
and
But
this again,
again,
this
yeah,
this system encourages those types of questions. I just need to
right,
clarify this. Am I actually getting this?
right, right,
Which is, yeah, you are, or oh, almost, but you forgot this and that.
right, exactly. Okay, great. All right, well, I'm excited. I got lots
Cool.
of ideas going around and so many applications and really at the bottom at the end of the day, number one, I want to be excited again about what I do, like excited for them.
Hmm.
Communicate that to them in a way that that's lasting and they'll take it with them. And then also, to be frank, it made my job easier. So if I have to do the work now to make my job easier, oh yeah, definitely. Because
Yeah.
grading is oh just like you were saying, like you could do 180 and I don't know 45 minutes. I'm like,
Mhm.
what? I can't
Yeah.
even do one in 45 minutes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's amazing because and a lot of that happens because it's all check boxes, and so
Yes.
the moment you see a student not getting one of those check boxes, then you put it into the pile of not complete, and you're
Yeah.
done. And for the students that have completed, it's you got the check boxes. Like I have them underline, like one underline for a secondary source, two for a primary source, three for a class discussion source, three for a class discussion source. Um, and so it's very easy. Okay, one check, 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 check. They got all the
Yeah.
sources, and then I go back and once I realize it's complete, that's where I read it thoroughly. Then I put comments in the section, and so it mitigates the time to grade greatly.
Well, also that one and done mentality they have. If they literally have to engage with their own text after they wrote it, because I guess in my case it'd be like proofreading and editing, which they never do.
Mhm,
But I can now have them go, okay, show me where your thesis is at, underline it.
mhm.
Where's your two supporting points? Okay, where's your introductory strategy? Whatever these are. And so again, the applications are just enormous. So
Yeah,
that's good.
yeah, it's empowering
Yeah.
for everybody involved.
Hmm.
And yeah, I mean, it's my hope that by maybe 3 or 4 years from now, at least 25% of faculty adopt this, and I
Hmm.
think it will spread from there.
Yeah.
Because yeah, the challenge is since it's novel, yeah, students don't know what the heck you're talking about it for the first few weeks, and then, but if more faculty are doing it, then this will become old hat. It'll become a standard,
Right.
and that's that's why I'm being such a nerd about this. Is
Hmm.
it's worked for me. It's worked for anybody who has adopted it, and I've yet to see any drawbacks to it.
Hmm.
And I'm only a year and a half to it, but I think those drawbacks would have announced themselves the first semester.
Well, too, you get to be sort of the guinea pig, and then those of us who kind of come after you and then lay the groundwork, like you said, for other faculty. Because I I talked to several who went to your presentation, and they're like, "Yeah, it sounds really great, but man, the amount of work is enormous." But I'm like, "Look at the payoff. Look
Hmm.
at the payoff."
It's an
That's what I'm
investment.
focused on. I already know it's enormous, but I keep looking at I'm looking at the payday at the end, not only for
Yeah,
myself but for my students.
yeah. By
So,
next year, you'll
mhm.
enjoy the fruits of your labor.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
It's yeah, it's can't say enough good things about
Yeah,
it,
no.
right? Oh, quick question. This is an aside question. I shared with that student who shared her dear friend dying by suicide, and she was in my office with the door closed, and she stood up, and it was clear she was needing a hug, and I did not reciprocate. She's a female student. Um, she needed a human being with her, and to the best of my ability, I tried to provide being a human being to her, but I stopped at going in to give her a hug. Uh, Dana, Colleen, you're both women. If what if you're offering the hug? She was walking into me, and I sort of backed up because this is a professional relationship we have here, and I didn't want to cross any boundaries. But would that have been appropriate?
I think
Um,
so,
go
but
ahead.
I'm not an expert. Maybe do the side hug, try to do the little side hug, pat the back or whatever. That's
Yeah.
kind of tricky, I mean, I think it would have been okay, but it's kind of hard, because you're a man, so,
Yeah.
and the door was closed. So,
Mhm.
I when you told me she came in and closed the door, I felt fear in my heart for you.
Yeah, I keep that door open always.
Now, seriously, because
Yeah.
okay, what I would have done is probably there in the doorway or the hallway, I would have given her the side hug. So
Mhm.
if
Yeah.
anybody was there or whatever, it was more visible. But I know that's very awkward. It's awkward. Well, it's awkward for all of us, but most especially for my male colleagues. I always tell them, do not ever shut that door, no matter what.
No, that door is she
Yeah.
shut the door.
Yeah,
And
yeah. And I tell students, I'm like, could you please leave the door cracked?
mhm.
Because it's just dangerous situation. But I mean, your instincts were good, which is oh, antenna has to go up here, and it's unfortunate. That's horrible. That's horrible that your antenna
Mhm.
has to be up. But no,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. Unfortunately,
it
yeah.
is. I mean, because for you to be able to to again, like you said, she needed a human being, and just it's this climate we're in, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
a
think it would
hard
have been inappropriate at all. But then again, I know you and I knew, you know what I mean? So, but someone from looking in from out might be different, just
Yeah.
it's a
Yeah.
minefield. It's a minefield.
That's a hard spot to be in,
Mhm.
because we want to be able to be there and to give love to people. And that's the hard part, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
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 No, you do your best and then move forward.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If the opportunity presents itself, yeah, I'll do it in the public eye side
Yeah,
hug,
that's what I try to do is if my
but
students
Mhm.
want a physical,
not
then I try to
embracing.
do it in the doorway and in the hallway. And again, like she said, just sort of like a half, just so they know that you're there, you know what I mean? Yes, we're patting their back or whatever. But I know it's awful that we have to think about that, but we
Yeah.
do, unfortunately.
We have a
So
camera in our hallway, so I could be on camera and
Yeah, there you
yeah.
go.
But find out
With the
which way the
camera.
cameras point because I have two cameras outside of my office and neither one points at my door.
okay.
And
No,
I
mine's
found
right
that
there in front
out.
of my door.
Yeah, I found that out with a pissed off student who came and pounded on my door. We went back to try to find the video, and they're like, "Yeah, neither one of the cameras pointed at your door." I'm like, "Well, that's really
Oh,
safe,
that's
isn't it
scary.
now?" Yeah. So just maybe for your own peace of mind, just go, "Hey, either one of those look. Are they filming my door? I mean, because that's a
Yeah.
good thing. It could be a good thing,
Yeah.
but I don't know."
Were you in the office when he was pounding on
I
your door?
was in the office and I
Oh,
had called for security, and of course, by the time they got here, he was gone. Oh
mm.
yeah, it's a whole thing, and that's like okay, I've been here 20 years in the exact same office. Three times that's happened to me.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, and then now we had this whole thing about how we have to take the paper off of our windows for safety issue. Yeah, I asked for accommodation. The school said no.
Mm.
Chris was not very happy about that. Chris Nelson, but I'm like, what are you gonna do? I mean,
Yeah.
they say it's a safety issue. Yeah, it is a safety issue.
Yeah. It applies both ways.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
Again, all we want to do is teach our subject. That's all we want to do.
Well,
Yeah.
no promises here, but
No.
you have an opportunity here to
Yeah.
prevent that unfortunate
Yeah.
possibility of students pounding at your door because
Right.
this at least mitigates for someone who's not emotionally regulated to act like
Right.
an adult here because this is
Exactly.
an adult enterprise.
No, I'm all for it being crystal clear to them. That's all I've ever wanted. And so when things go askew, it's shocking for everybody. So yeah. But anything that will help.
Yeah.
So
Well, we
that's
got
good.
4 minutes left. Colleen, any last quick questions or comments?
Not over. No, I had a whole list of them. I had a whole list here, and you answered most of them. But I'm sure I'll have more.
Well, you know how to get a
yeah.
hold of me, and it's reciprocal. Your questions help me. It helps see the holes that I have in my system, and I'm happy to offer my experience with this. Let's go forth and be great on this, and add our little drops of water to what I refer to this as this is a factory of love, and we're the machinery.
Right.
Sure,
Exactly.
we're the gears churning out love, and if you're religious, I guess God is the one pulling the lever.
Yeah.
So it's a great opportunity to be in that situation.
Yes.
All
Okay.
right,
Well, if you
I'm going to
just
get
add me.
you
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
the course. I'm going to do
Awesome.
that right now, and then hopefully the turnaround on that's pretty quick.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
all right,
Great. Thanks
thank
so
you,
much.
Dana, for helping us out here.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you. It's great.
Yeah.
All righty.
All right, we'll do this again probably next spring, and
Okay.
we'll do another follow-up, exchanging notes, and we'll see what happens.
Okay. Great. Thanks. Have a good weekend.
Bye.